And the fine folks at Mgcool sent me their latest action camera, the Explorer Pro. So let's take a look at the packaging here. Nice little box. Comes with a waterproof case. It's good for 30 meters. And of course, like a lot of the action cameras now, it has the GoPro style accessory clips. Speaking of accessories, let's take a look at what's inside. Like a lot of the other action cameras out there, you get a plethora of little accessories to go along with it, from a handlebar mount to the camera case mount, little swivels, connection point, there's your charging cable, and of course the ever important instruction booklet. And I will say that Mgcool does a great job with their instruction booklet because it is very precise and very easy to understand. Now let's take a look at the camera itself, get it out of this waterproof case. It's got a nice rubberized plastic feel to the outer edge of it. You've got all of your ports there on the side, along with your micro or mini SD card. 2-inch screen on the back. There's your navigation buttons. Shutter button up on top, power button up front. It's a very, very nice little camera, and they've got a couple of things that are exclusive to them. But first off, it's using the Sony IMX179 sensor, which is supposed to be really good at low light. For the chipset, they're using the All-Winner V3. The battery in it is a 1050 milliamp per hour battery, good for 100 minutes. And here's the shark eye thing that's very unique to this camera. Battery is located in the bottom. It's got one of those little drawers you got to stick your nail in to get the battery out. And like I said, it's 1050 milliamp. It will not fit in the SJCAM because it is a lot thicker than your SJCAM batteries. So let's go ahead and boot it up so you can take a look at what some of the menu items look like. Like a lot of cameras, you've got your resolution. It will go up to 16 megapixel on still images. Get your video resolution, recording sound so you can turn the microphone on or off, time lapse, loop recording, slow motion. Then you can toggle over to the next setting. I didn't mess with any of these. Exposure, white balance, image rotation, driving mode, Wi-Fi, your light source. One thing it doesn't have the ability for sharpness or for contrast adjustments. And then you can toggle to exit out of the menu. Resolutions, you got 720 at 30, 60 or 120 frames a second, 1080 at 30 or 60 frames, 2.7 at 30 frames per second. You got 4K at 30 frames per second, but of course that's interpolated. Got a 170 degree fixed focus lens on this and 16 megapixel still images. Now I'll put down on the bottom here what the megabits per second were on these recordings. All right, 1080 at 30 frames a second. At 60 frames a second. .7K, 30 frames a second. .4K interpolated at 30 frames a second. again 1080 at 60. Now most people use 1080 at 60 frames a second, and I'm the same way if I'm not using 2K or 4K. But I'll check out the color detail, and we can do a mic test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's 1080p at 60 frames a second. We're going to go ahead and try the waterproof case and see how well it holds up. I'll tell you that I'm not a fan of the 1080 at 60 frames just because it records at 8 megabits per second. And if you look at the bottom of the pool, it starts getting very blotchy and a lot of artifacts. And it's just because it's not recording at a higher bit rate. Now my favorite here is 2.7 at 30 frames a second because it records at 30 megabits a second, and that's where this little camera really starts to shine, is in its quality here at 2.7K. You see underwater with my daughter swimming. Very nice image. Now, like a lot of action cameras that are out on the market, the image is a little bit oversaturated, but you can always fix that in post. And I'm happy to report that the waterproof case, it stayed waterproof. There was no leakage at all. But then again, granted, my pool is only 10 feet deep, so I didn't go very deep with it. But hey, it's just good enough for what I need it for. There's a little time lapse, and like I said, no sharpness adjustment, and a little bit oversaturated in some of the colors. But you know, you can fix that in post as well. It's a cool little camera. It's a nice little budget camera for under $60. You cannot go wrong by Mgcool. It's called the Explorer Pro. I'll put a link in the description below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and please hit subscribe. Have yourself a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.